Hey everyone, just wanted to check in to talk about some changes and updates to this YouTube channel. When I started Great Lakes Prepping in 2016, my intention was to make videos that discuss, demonstrate, and generally share the things I'm doing in the effort of preparedness. At that time, I was neck deep in the world of prepping, and I felt like I had a lot to contribute, particularly for people who were curious about preparedness or were somewhat new to it. I also liked the idea of documenting the things I was doing in the form of videos. And while today, in 2024, I still consider myself a prepper and still continue to maintain and grow my preps, a few things have changed. Things have changed with me and the kinds of content that I find interesting. Things have changed with YouTube in general. And things have definitely changed in the overall realm of YouTube prepper channels. To elaborate a bit on these points, one, if you've been watching my channel for a while, you've surely noticed that a large proportion of the videos I publish are not necessarily specifically about prepping anymore. A lot of them are about food preservation, food production, food preparation. A lot of my videos touch on topics that are tangential to prepping, like self-reliance and homesteading and so forth. Wild game cooking fits nicely in there, as do things like sausage making and meat processing of any sort. But I also have a lot of otherwise ordinary recipe and cooking videos because, well, I like making them. I don't really have any intention on designating this specifically a cooking channel, but it will certainly continue to be a recurring theme. And two, when I was becoming interested in prepping, and even when I started my prepping channel, most of the prepper specific videos were what I would call useful. They showed things, how to do things, ideas of what to do. They showed at least as much of the how as they did the why, and that was incredibly useful to me. I didn't need to be convinced every single day why I should be more prepared, but I did need information and ideas for how to achieve that. But for the last few years, the very nature of a prepping channel has changed. As made evident by the handful of very popular prepper channels, they are now entirely about generating frequent content that is meant to inspire and capitalize off of pretty much fear, and not in any way that I tend to find productive. And a lot of these channels did not start off this way. They started off as what I would call useful, where they show you stuff. But as a prepper channel grows, content creators and their income start to depend on them being marketers above all else. This means clickbait headlines, terrifying thumbnail images, and video after video after video of regurgitated fear-based narratives. Fear itself is inherently bad. It's a normal human function. But when the only thing you sell is fear for the sake of fear, but really for the sake of ad revenue, it's not useful to anybody except those selling it. And the biggest prepper channels have hundreds of thousands or more of regular viewers. So there's clearly a market for it, though it does all play into the YouTube algorithm where the formula practically requires you to churn out low effort and low value videos over and over and over again, several times a week in order to really climb up the ranks. So considering all that, here's what it means for me. In order for me to continue growing my channel, I'm basically faced with two choices. Change my prepping channel to be a fear-centric talking head platform where I crank out videos week after week, where I'm just rattling off news headlines and telling you why it means that the world is ending, and that this time it really, really super duper is ending. Unlike with the previous 900 videos I published where it was just sort of ending. Or I can change the format of my channel to be something other than prepper specific. And while I can talk all day about topics of which I am interested in or knowledgeable about, I cannot talk endlessly about the latest doomsday that will annihilate us all. I don't have a natural talent for going blah 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 about something that bores the crap out of me, and I find fewer things more boring than what most of these bigger prepper channels have become. For as terrifying as the video titles and thumbnails aim to be, nothing is more of a snore fest than the same "you're all gonna die tomorrow" videos that do nothing more than repeat the same stuff we already know, but like scarier. So it seems clear that the path this channel needs to take is to broaden its format and no longer be prepper specific. I'm still gonna make videos about preparedness and DIY projects and hunting and gardening and food preservation and off-grid power and everything in between. Really, the sort of videos I've been making lately are already well beyond the scope of prepping and that will just continue to be the case. So what is changing? Honestly, not all that much. The main thing that's changing is the channel name. I really like the Great Lakes Prepping name, but it simply no longer fits what this channel is about. And if you're thinking, okay, so what is it about? Well, above all else, I see this as a DIY channel, whatever that may be. Whether we're talking about building a shed, or cooking an elaborate meal from scratch, or harvesting a deer and turning it into food, or anything else. It's been an overarching theme in my life that if there's something I want done, I want to figure out how to do it myself. And that's really what's at the core of this YouTube channel. And in case it isn't already obvious by the name showing up on your screen, I've changed the name of this channel to Great Lakes Country. No, it's not about country music, though I'm always trying to figure out how to incorporate more music into my videos. I spent a lot of time trying to think of a new name. I love the Great Lakes part, so that was easy, but what to replace Prepper with? I eventually landed on Great Lakes Country for the main reason that it's, well, kinda generic. It doesn't have any specific meaning, which is better suited for a broader channel that publishes videos about anything and everything without being tied to one specific category or topic. I've lived in Michigan my whole life, which is the Great Lakes state, and this channel has always had a subtle Michigan-oriented theme to it. So what name could I come up with that both sounds decent and encompasses everything that I do in this beautiful land, and bonus points for something that gives the impression of rustic or outdoorsy, off the beaten path, generally rural? Now, I've been using the Great Lakes Prepping name for so long that it's so deeply intertwined with this channel that it'll probably never truly go away. My custom channel URL, at least for the time being, will still have Great Lakes Prepping in it. My main channel email address is still Great Lakes Prepping. Hundreds of websites all over the place are still linking to this channel, but for all branding purposes, I'll henceforth be calling this whole thing Great Lakes Country. I've already changed my website over, and GreatLakesPrepping.com now automatically redirects to GreatLakesCountry.com, and eventually I'll change the Facebook page, Instagram, and any other social media linked to this channel. As for what the future holds, well, I've pretty much already said it. I'm going to continue producing the best videos that I know how. I definitely want to do more outdoor videos, including hunting and fishing videos and outdoor cooking. I'm actually gearing up to start doing some barbecue and smoking videos once the cold season wraps up. And if there's ever anything you'd like to see me do or try to do, please shoot me a comment or message and let me know. I'm usually up for a challenge, and my ultimate objective is to make videos that you all will hopefully enjoy. Aside from that, I'd love to start publishing videos more often. It's been pretty steadily one video per week for a few years now, and my hope is to at least double that at some point in the future. I've also dabbled with the idea of starting a Patreon, but I really don't want to pull the trigger on that unless I'm certain that I can come up with enough cool stuff to provide actual value to those who subscribe. So I guess that's about it, but before I wrap this thing up, let me just express how deeply grateful I am for every single one of you who watches this channel, with a special shout out to the handful of you that have been watching for years, commenting, giving me words of encouragement. I don't always have the words to adequately convey this, but it gives me a great feeling and truly is a driving force of why I keep doing this year after year. I know in the grand scheme of YouTube channels, mine is pretty small, but it blows me away every day that millions of people have watched my videos, and over 50,000 of you like what I do enough to subscribe and come back for more. And for as long as there are things that I find interesting, I'll continue making videos. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I'm John, and this is Great Lakes Country.